Hello everyone, War in the Mountains is the brand new patch coming out soon, TM, for the Old Realms mod in Bannerlord. This is the massive Warhammer Fantasy mod, which has provided hundreds of hours of gameplay and is now providing hundreds of hours more. I've had a little bit of early access to check it out, and now since the mod devs have said that it's possible for me to stream it, I've decided to make a video alongside of it, just to show you some of the stuff that's coming in. This is a very expansive update, by the way, huge. 2 new playable races with the Greenskins and the Dwarfs, alongside a map update and a few other things. So, we're going to jump right in and we're going to talk about a few of the changes, and if you want to see more, I'll be live on twitch.tv/thegreatbookofgrudges, streaming this as soon as the video comes out. So like I said, you've got all the playable races that you've been able to play before, plus the Greenskins and the Dwarfs. When you're playing as the Greenskins, you have access to Orcs, and when you're playing as Dwarfs, I mean, it's a Dwarf, right? There's a lot of customization options. Randomizing shows off some pretty cool stuff. The Orcs look tremendous. I think that might be one of my first streams, because goddamn, they look amazing. As you can expect, if you're playing as a Dwarf or a Greenskin, you will be able to recruit Dwarfs or Greenskin units for a really fun experience, and there is a lot of troop options, including weapons, and you've got access to, say, cannons with the Dwarfs. It's honestly really impressive on how much work goes into this. The updates do take a while, but keep in mind that Bannerlord's engine can be a little bit weird, especially with the release of War Cells. You'll not be able to use War Cells here, but there's so much that goes in here. I'm on a new build, so there might be a little bit of time that shaders will have to compile and stuff, and alongside that, yeah, like this is an early access build, so there can be some visual bugs, which I think there's a few in the clips, but this is what happens, right? It's important to remember that these modders are making essentially a Warhammer Fantasy game for free, which is absolutely amazing. So when you play as a Greenskin, you've got access to a shaman or a boss tree. There are no savage orcs, which is like my biggest sadness. I love savage orcs, but there's loads and loads of stuff that you can do with the shamans or with the boss, especially as you've got a lot of units, and we'll go around those a little bit later on. It's really cool on how much detail there is, and you get so much more once you jump into the game. Like, the first thing we need to talk about is the map changes. Of course, what's happened is that the Northern World's Edge Mountains and just a few different areas have been added in, just to give it that feel for Greenskins and also Dwarfs. So you've got places like Sufbar being added in, Karakadrin, the Slayer Hold. You're going to have to move around for a while. There is so much to this map. Even before this update, it is absolutely enormous. So getting all these dwarf areas is going to make it even bigger. And yes, I did have a little bit of PTSD when I saw Karakadrin. It's my eternal enemy. It's absolutely mind-blowing as to just how much is in this mod so far. I can't wait for them to do like Chaos Warriors and stuff, because obviously, like, you know, I'm a Chaos main right now for Old World, but that might take a while, and I can be patient because I've got Dwarfs and Orcs to play with, alongside some Goblin units, which is always great. At the end of the day, you know, the Greenskins is supposed to be like a multicultural thing. It's awesome just to see the evolution of stuff, especially when you start looking towards like careers. I'm just giving you like a brief look on the Orc Shamans. That's the one that I went to, because that's the only thing where you get some Savage Orc paint, essentially, if you try to be like a Savage Orc. But there's no Savage Orc units, once again. Big sad. I know. It's just, I wanted to mention that. It's pretty cool, honestly. There's also armor, which is only available to, say, for example, Orcs, where you have to be an Orc to wear that, and that means that your Orc will not be able to wear human gear or Chaos gear or whatever. I think that's pretty cool. It's thematic. It's because it's tied to the rig, but I think that is a nice separation in terms of styling, and you've got so much to even play around with afterwards, because there is so many units, and it's absolutely impressive. Like with the Greenskins, you're playing around with goblins, so you've got goblins standard, you can get all the way up to nasty skulkers or wolf riders, where the wall's looking tremendously cool. Again, big surprise, because when you see this type of stuff happening in Bannerlord, where Bannerlord itself can be a little bit janky, just because there's so much going on, it is really impressive. The Orcs also, you've got Orc Boys going all the way up to Orc Boss, so you can get some big uns, so Boar Boy big uns, some Arrow Boys. You can also get some bullies for your artillery, or even you can get the Black Orcs and Trolls. So if you want to go for a full Black Orc army, which they will cost a fair amount, You can. It's very hard to find someone that doesn't like greenskins, so this should be a massive update and a lot of fun for a lot of people. Like, they are universally loved by Warhammer fans because they're just so silly in the best way possible. Greenskins will also have access to what is essentially a fightiness bar. This means that the more fighting that you get into, the more chance of getting some random units, some buffs and stuff like that. It's super cool. It basically is just incentivizing you to keep aggressive, which is what is expected from a greenskin player. I do imagine that you can ignore it, but your morale and stuff are going to be kind of worse. I mean, that's just for the players who like to stay in blacksmith all the time, which there's a fair amount, and I'm kind of used to doing that too. But we have to look at the settlements, right? I'm just going to go over some stuff. It's not going to be like a full breakdown. The greenskin settlements look freaking awesome, man. It's just, that's what you get to see. Like, it reminds me of not only areas that we've seen in Total War Warhammer, but also earlier interpretations of greenskin settlements in White Dwarf. It's not a structured settlement. It's supposed to be just tents and dung and everything. It's just supposed to look broken. This is quintessential for their lore. You need the greenskins to look like the worst organization possible, and it looks so freaking cool. There is a little bit of a visual bug here, and it's funny when this happens, so I'm leaving it in. It's just one orc, his textures didn't like fully work, and this happens during an early access build. At the end of the day, it's not a problem, right? Because worse things have happened. Like, I've not had any crashes so far with the previous build. I've just started with the next build to record this video, as I had this planned out a while. It is awesome. There is so much to freaking do, and it's just like the main cities and stuff. It is so large. It's not even like, if I wanted to just tour the main cities, we'd be here for hours on end, which I think is a testament to just how beautiful this mod is. It's just so large. I can't wait to take over the whole map, or at least attempt to, because like there is a lot of settlements now, just a lot of castles and cities and stuff. Hey, I mean, it's worth a shot, and I'm going to be doing that on live streams because it could be kind of cool. I do wonder if the Twitch viewer integration also works with this mod. I'm going to have to ask. There is a brawl mechanic with the greenskins. I don't recommend starting at the very beginning of your campaign. I took a beating, and you will lose teeth and you will lose your treasury also, because it kind of works like an arena. And it makes sense. Obviously, greenskins need to be able to fight amongst themselves. It's just... I went in thinking, this should be easy. I'm on easy mode. Nope. Not whatsoever. I don't know what the hell, like, he took out most of my health in one hit. It was wild. And if you get taken down here, you're gonna be at like 1% health. So you're gonna have to regenerate. Obviously with the greenskins, you're gonna want to get into as many fights as possible. And what I've been able to see is, I think everything is voiced so far from what I've been able to play around with. There's probably some stuff that isn't, because again, still early access build until it becomes public. I don't think there is a release date just yet, but they're probably just trying to make sure that everything is working as intended, which is perfectly fine. The greenskins look absolutely awesome. Here's where I actually found out, because I was playing with the dwarves prior. You can randomly get some goblins in your army, which is great. So I bought recruited a bunch of orcs, and I've got some goblins that I play around with, which means I can get some wolf riders later. Yeah, I mean, no complaints whatsoever. They look freaking awesome. It's so interesting to see a full army like that. My biggest problem is, obviously, I'm a shaman, so I don't really have a lot of armor, and I need to kind of gear myself up. But this is just for like showcase purposes. I like the way that they look. They are so large. They feel like you're running orcs and goblins, right? The goblins are tiny. The orcs are huge. This is such an important visual aspect, and it's something that we've been seeing a lot with different mods in Bannerlord. It's great to see that being interpreted fairly well. Even more so when it comes to Warhammer, because we've been able to see, tree lords. We've been able to see, I think there's dryads. I know there's like some minotaurs and stuff like that. It's cool, especially when, you've got such dedicated artists making up these assets, and they're trying to be as close to the Warhammer setting as possible, whilst also making sure that it's like coherent with the style of Bannerlord, so nothing is breaking or looking like it doesn't really fit. It's really, really interesting to see how this mod has evolved over the years that it's been active. It really shows that there's a lot of love for Warhammer Fantasy when you see these types of mods. The same thing as like the EU4 mod and, well, even the modding community in Total War Warhammer. I've always got time for mods like this, especially the Old Realms mod, where I get to lead my armies, I get to form my own kingdom. You know how cool that is? Naturally, greenskins aren't your thing. You've also got the dwarfs. Once again, looking amazing quality. They give that vibe of the minis from Skull Pass, which I'm not sure if that was what is intended, but it gives me that vibe, which is so cool, because obviously that was a fantastic box from way back in the day. So you've got quite a lot to play around with, and there is a lot more in terms of your career. So you've got like the mercenary, you've got the Ironbreaker, you've also got the Slayer, and there's a lot to play around with there, which I think is really, really cool. The roster itself is pretty beasty too. It's just wild when you look at everything. Starting off, the armor looks fantastic. I can't stop looking at it. I might do a Slayer, but I don't know, man. There's just so much to play around with. And then when you look at the roster, right, there's like a lot. I think most of the dwarf stuff is actually represented. So in terms of miners, longbeards, ironbreakers, you've got iron drakes with trollhammer torpedoes, and you can use those yourself. Remember that any special weapons added to the units in-game generally be able to used by yourself if you spec in it, because remember that there is stuff like gunpowder, and also just like in general you need to get a few different equipment pieces. But it's absolutely awesome to see all that. There are slayers too, loads and loads of different slayers, because they are like kinslayers, which I found really odd that you can see them in cities, but I guess that's like, it's how Bannerlord can just like randomly put troops because it's tied to the custom culture. It's wild just seeing all the detail, and the units looking so cool. They have that vibe of the minis, and it's making me want to paint up some more dwarfs. The only problem is, I really don't want to paint up some dwarfs at the moment, because I did a lot. Those of you who have seen my dwarf army know that I did about, like, what, 500 minis in the space of, like, 3 or 4 months, and I still have to add to it. It's just, they're so tiny, man. They are so tiny. Dwarf settlements also look pretty damn beasty. I mean, seriously, they remind me of some of the maps from Warhammer 3 in a sense, and obviously some stuff that we've seen in White Dwarf. There's a lot of reference points there, and they look huge, absolutely huge. So I won't be able to showcase like all of it, but I think this is the perfect time to talk about the mod itself, right? It's one of these love letters to Warhammer Fantasy. You can tell by the team involved that they really love this setting, and they want to make it as lore-friendly as possible with a free experience, right? You just need to own Bannerlord. You don't need war sales for this, by the way. I want to restate that. And if you do have war sales, turn it off, or else it won't work when this mod eventually releases its update, which I don't know when it's going to be. They haven't told us, but it should be relatively soon, I imagine, given the really good state of things on how well everything is playing. It's great to see this evolve constantly. Remember, it started off quite small and has just been adding more playable factions as it's gone on. And dwarfs and greenskins aren't your thing. You know, there's Bretonnians, there's Musalon if you want like a hybrid faction, there's the vampire counts, there's the Eonir, there's the Wood Elves, there's the Empire. Each passing update is making it larger and larger and larger. And I think that's what draws a lot of people to this mod. Not only that, it's just like, it's Warhammer Fantasy, right? It is one of the greatest Warhammer Fantasy experiences in an unofficial sense. I have to say unofficial because, yeah, it's a mod, but it is so good. The love and care and dedication that's been put into this just shows every time that you play it. I wish I could talk about it more, but I am actually getting ready to do a live stream. So once again, twitch.tv/thegreatbookofgrudges if you want to see this mod in action alongside this brand new update. And once again, thank you to the modders for the early access. We had time to make videos prior, but I wanted to wait until it was close to the streaming stuff. So, you know, we could have a little bit of fun and enjoy that live with the community. Let me know what you guys think about the mod in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.